Street in St. Charles. I'm Gary B. Alongside my broadcast partner, Randy Gardner. Tonight we're going to be talking MMA sports, number one. We're going to talk a little bit about Bobby's Place here in St. Charles. And also have a young man next to me, Rumble Time Promotion photographer. He's going to go ahead and tell us a little bit about last week's involvement at the Ameristar Casino. They had Pick Your Poison MMA as well as the boxing match there live last Saturday. Bobby Barton is going to be joining me here shortly, and we're going to talk about that. I want to thank our sponsors, first of all, naturally Rumble Time Promotion, the boxing individual here in town who makes sure all the boxing and MMA goes on at the Ameristar. And Steve Smith's done a super job in putting this together for the program for many years here in the St. Louis area. You want to go to our websites, which would be SPORTSRADIOSTL, and you'll be able to get the information concerning everything that goes on with Rumble Time Promotion. Also want to thank our sponsors, Sozo STL, Blackwell Motors, as well as Empire Fence and Custom Ironworks. Thanks so much for those sponsors. And without further ado, I want to introduce and bring back to the stage here Bobby Barton. Welcome, Bobby.
Hey, how you doing?
I am doing great. I appreciate your time.
Good to be here.
Yeah, you, again, just kind of inform all the individuals out there, you're part of the photography of Rumble Time Promotions each and every week, and you have the opportunity of being right there and in front of all the blood and the spit and everything else that goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the only one on the team that takes a shower as soon as I get home.
And that's a fun time. I know last week you guys had a great card up there at Ameristar at the casino, and a lot was going on. And maybe you can kind of talk a little bit. The event was called Pick Your Poison.
Right. We started out the night with K1, which is kickboxing, and had some really good bouts. And the good bouts come about because we have such a good matchmaker. Derek Spicer matches these fights even. And when you have even skills with both fighters, you have good fights. They're not lopsided where, you know, you get a killer in there with somebody that doesn't even really want to fight, and those make for bad fights. And Derek did a great job again last Saturday night, and we had some good fights throughout the night.
Well, last week we broadcast live from the Ameris Sports Bar there inside the Ameristar Casino there, and we had several of the fighters along with a couple of the kickboxers there too, and kind of maybe review who we had on the stage right after we spoke with you.
Well, in the main event, Stefan Young fought Kendrick Latchman, and it was a difficult fight for Stefan, mainly because Kendrick was awkward. He ran. He was didn't really want to engage. He wanted to come in and jump out, and didn't have a lot of pop on his punches, but Stefan eventually caught him and beat him up and had a unanimous decision. It was a six-rounder.
Six-rounder?
Yeah. There was a really good fight. Lamar Harris and Paul Littleton. Littleton came down from Chicago, 9-0, and you know he's going to come in and conquer the world. And he ran into a veteran, Lamar, and it ended up being a split draw. One judge had it for Littleton, one had it for Harris, and the other judge had it as a draw. And but that was really a good fight. They were evenly matched, and I think the kid from Chicago was surprised.
Yeah, that's again, Lamar did a super job, and I understand as far as what went on in the fight there. And like you said, Littleton was really not known around here in the St. Louis area.
No.
He's from up north there,
Chicago, yeah.
Lombardy, Illinois, up there up north.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right.
Kind of
It's a tough town. They got a lot of good boxers up there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I don't know if he came in overconfident or what, but he sure run into a buzzsaw in a kid that wouldn't quit. We had a couple other great fights that night, too. Soja Murray, I think he went to 8-0, and he had a tough fight, but he got in there and banged it out. And Kenny Cruz, our Puerto Rican sensation, came in and got a first-round knockout. To a kid that didn't want to stop fighting, but he knocked him down twice in the first round, and the second time he knocked him down, it was right at the bell, and he just couldn't get up. And Kenny Cruz is going to be something to see.
Yeah, and when you talk about that, you have the matchmaker there naturally that's putting all these fights together. When they see a knockout in the first round, they're going, uh-oh, it's going to be a short evening.
Well, yeah, and there weren't a lot of those. But Kenny Cruz is just, I mean, he is a diamond in the rough. This kid, his hands are so fast, and he hits with power. And, you try to match him up evenly, but still get the win. You know what I mean? We got to bring these fighters along. We promote them. And he just caught the kid. Caught him with a couple of good shots, and I think the kid wanted a fight, but it was over.
And when Mr. Bobby Barton says we, he's talking about naturally Rumble Time Promotion, who runs. Steve Smith naturally puts that program together and does a super job here in the St. Louis area. And all of his fights are up there naturally at Ameristar here in St. Charles. And a lot of action that he brings in, the card that he brings in. I mean, every Friday night, or not every Friday night, but there are Friday nights when you go and you're watching Friday night fights, and you're going to see Steve Smith.
Oh, yeah, he's brought everybody here. ESPN, Showtime. I mean, he's brought all the big players into town. And, he drags me out of town all the time, too, which is great. But, yeah, you're liable to see us on TV, whatever weekend. We got a fight coming up October 4th. Willie Nelson's fighting in Connecticut at Foxwoods, and he's ranked number 3 in the WBC, and he's really a good fighter. So we'll be on TV up there on Showtime.
Showtime.
October 4th, yes.
It'll be on Showtime, and that's coming up just around the corner. So, like you're talking about, there's just so much going on there. But last Saturday, getting back to the event of Pick Your Poison up at the Ameristar Casino, Steve Smith was up there, and well, actually that Thursday when we had Sports Radio STL broadcast, we had a young lady on the air.
Tara Walker, and what a beautiful young lady, and you would have never guessed she was a K1 fighter. No, got a mean streak in her. Yeah, she had a really tough fight. It was very even. I actually didn't know who won. She got the nod, she got the win, but when it was all over and before they raised their hand, I didn't know who won. It was that close.
Yeah, you were right there, but in the interview, Randy Gardner and I had the privilege of interviewing her last Thursday, and what a very articulate, a very sharp girl.
Yeah, very smart.
And she was 2-2. She came out. All of her fights have been in Iowa, and this is the first time she fought outside of that state.
We're going to try to change that. We're going to try to get her back here in Missouri.
Well, I'm sure I wasn't able to make it that, but I'm sure it was a great fight, and like you said, you were on the edge of your seat the whole fight, and at the very end, you weren't quite sure who was going to take the...
Right, I didn't know who won. I mean, it was that close.
And that was her, Bobby, that was her pro debut?
No, she's still amateur.
Is she still an amateur?
Yeah,
okay, okay.
But yeah. I'll tell you what, the head kicks were flying. I mean, they were just trading head kicks, Kick me in my left ear, I'm going to kick you in your left ear. You kick me in my right ear, I'm kicking you in your right ear. So just one of those nights.
Yeah, and again, Tara did a super job. I saw her, in fact.
And they have headgear on. So I mean,
yeah,
amateur, they have headgear on.
But I did see her on the on Facebook, and she was just talking about left and right, how it went, and just thanked everybody for coming. And again, it's not all about her. That she's not an egotistical person.
She had a lot of family and friends in the stands, and when they raised her arm, that place erupted.
Right. What else went on last week at Pick Your Poison?
Well, I mean, we had like 5 kickboxing matches, and I really like the kickboxing. I mean, I like boxing. I'm a boxing guy. But I do like the kickboxing, too. And we had some great matchups last week. And then we went right into the pro boxing when, like I said, Kenny Cruz and Soldier Murray and Lamar put on a good fight. And Stephon Young, the main event, he moved to 11-0.
Yes, I remember we were speaking with Stephon, and what a really nice guy, and he really looks up to Steve Smith with Rumble Time Promotions.
Well, Steve takes good care of him. Steve takes good care of all of his fighters.
Right. And over the years, as we've had the luxury, Sports Radio STL has had the luxury of going ahead and having Steve as our sponsor. We're really excited to have that and the opportunity of speaking with you. And as you mentioned, the next event is going to be on HBO or Showtime coming up here shortly, and then you're going to be coming back to the Ameristar. Naturally in November, the 1st of November, there'll be a card out, and there's a lot more to come on that. They can go to our website, SPORTSRADIOSTL.com. Click on to Rumble Time Promotions logo there, and you'll be able to get all that information, because you run the website, so you're our farmer here.
Yeah, sure do.
yeah, you do a super job in putting all that together.
Thank you.
Anything else, before we let you go here, anything else, Bobby Barton, that stood out that evening that you'd like to tell the listeners and viewers?
I guess it was just the energy in the crowd. I don't know if it sold out or not, but I'll tell you what, it was packed. I don't know if it sold out, but it was packed. And the fans just really had a good time, and they voiced their opinions on the judges and everything else like they always do.
Yeah.
So it was a great night. We had a good time. We had a lot of fun.
Bobby Barton, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Very good. That again is Bobby Barton, who is the official photographer of Rumble Time Promotions. He is on our show quite often, kind of giving us an insight on what has happened in the past and what's coming up in the future here. And he does a super job of that. And a lot of all the pictures that you see on Rumble Time Promotions website, the majority of them at least, Bobby takes and does a super job of that. And in fact, before I let you go,
they're all mine.
They're all yours.
They're all mine.
Well, before I let you go, is right down the street you have some of your photography, and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, there's an art gallery right up the street called Framations. It's almost directly across the street here from Bobby's, which, by the way, has a killer cheeseburger. Just had one. I got a month and a half show going, and there's a lot of landscapes, a few fight pictures, not many fight pictures, but landscape pictures and stuff. So it's hanging for a month and a half. We'll take them out mid-October.
Yeah, I know Steve Smith and you escorted us down there and showed us some of those pictures. Those are some great snapshots there. But
thank you.
But appreciate that. We're at Bobby's Place right here on Main Street, 134 North Main in downtown St. Charles. And if you're in the area, stop on by. We're going to be here every third week, but just go to our website, Sports Radio STL, and you'll be able to get a lot of information on where we'll be. In fact, next week, we're going to be at Bobby's Place down in Valley Park. And a great show we're going to be having down there every Thursday at 6 o'clock. We broadcast here on 590 concerning that. And we want to thank our sponsors, Bobby's Place, naturally, here on Main Street. Rumble Time Promotion is putting this together. Sozo STL, if you're into nutrition, if you want to get that extra edge, go to our website and click on Sozo STL to learn all about all the nutritional products that are on there. In fact, coffee, there's even a coffee on there too that you'll get blown away, all 100% natural. Want to thank Blackwell Motors also for being a part of our show here, and Empire Fence and Custom Ironworks, always great sponsors there that we have. And you can get all the information from these sponsors on our website at sportsradiostl.com, and basically just click on to their icons. It goes right to their websites, and you can get a lot more information on that. And in fact, Steve with Empire Fence, we had a meeting with him the other day, Bobby Barton, and what a great guy. He's got a great company there.
Sure does, yeah, does good work.
Yeah, he's got a lot of things going on, and so we do appreciate those sponsors there. Stick around. We've got a lot more to come. In fact, we're going to have an individual here from Bobby's here on Main Street that's going to talk about what goes on here. Maybe you haven't been familiar with Bobby's on Main here in downtown St. Charles. You're going to find out about that. Also in the house is going to be Jake Roberts. He's an MMA fighter. We're going to speak with him and find out a little bit about him. Later in the show, we're also going to be having an individual who owns an MMA location here in town and jiu-jitsu, and that's going to be Mike Rogers. He's going to be on the show also. He's going to be joining us later on in the show. So a lot more to come, so stay tuned. And you're listening again to SportsRadioSTL.com. Be right back. We are back at Bobby's Place on Main, downtown St. Charles. I'm Gary B. alongside, well, actually, in the background right now is my broadcast partner, Randy Gardner. Broadcasting live, as we mentioned, downtown in St. Charles. If you're in the area, stop on by. We're talking tonight a little bit about sports, a little bit about boxing. We just had Bobby Barton on the show here, talking about what was going on last week at the Ameristar Casino when they had the boxing going on up there. And then we're going to be having, as we mentioned the rest of the show, we're going to be having an individual from the location here that's going to be talking about Bobby's Place. What goes on? What kind of food is here? What kind of entertainment is here that you would like to look forward to in the future? Also, we're going to be having an MMA individual live here. We're going to have Jake Roberts. He'll be up here talking about his background and everything. Later on, Mike Rogers, St. Charles MMA and Jiu-Jitsu. He's going to talk about his facility here in the St. Charles area. But without further ado, we have a beautiful young lady up here. Let's hear from Miss Brooke here. All right, yeah, all right, there you go. Miss Brooke is here. She is one of the main culprits behind the bar, I guess, that has a lot of fun, and individuals come to see a lot here at Bobby's on Main Street. So there's a lot going on that helps that you have a great time here. And
yeah, it's a lot of
welcome,
fun.
first of all.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. Now you have that individual, you have it set up here. We have a little menu here, but first of all, let's talk about entertainment that goes on here at Bobby's Place on Main Street.
Well, we have a DJ every night, so we kind of have a club feel when it comes to night times. We host a lot of different events. Main Street has a lot of things going on. Wednesdays, Music on Main. We're always open to having the entertainment come and hang out with us as well. Good fun Sundays, football leagues. It's always a good time around here.
And then naturally tonight, later on, what we're going to be having is a little bit of baseball with the Cardinals after we get off the broadcast here.
Absolutely, yes.
So you guys crank up the audio and everything?
Yeah, audio, all the TVs. All of our girls are always in Cardinals gear, repping the teams.
Yeah, well,
so.
that's part of the fun here. As you mentioned last night, there was music on Main and a lot of action. I was here early, and this place here, Bobby's Place on Main, 143 North Main, was just packed here.
Yeah. I worked last night. We had a lot of fun. Just having the music outside, the perfect weather. Everyone gets involved and get a good crowd rolling.
And for those individuals that may not be familiar with Bobby's Place on Main Street, which I would not have any idea who that might be, how far are you away from the main action of music on the Main?
We're actually just a building down. It's in the center of Main Street. We're just right around the corner, so you can easily watch the bands play from our patio.
Right. I noticed a lot of people out there with lawn chairs, just enjoying coming in and getting a beverage and then heading on outside, which was nice. And besides beverage, naturally, there's a lot of great food here. And I notice on the front page here, there's a lot of different items. Each day they have a signature series, I guess. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, each day we have a different special, and that's typically from open to close. Our kitchen closes at 10 p.m., so our specials last all day. Today being Thursday, we have burgers special, so any burger on our menu with a side for $6.99. Happy hour specials always go from 4 to 8 o'clock. Great food specials, great drink specials. It's always a cheap place to have a good time.
Inexpensive place to have a great time, right? Now, there's a lot of places, individuals being familiar with downtown St. Charles, a lot of individuals say, okay, well, let's go downtown. Well, there's a lot of different places down there. What makes Bobby's on Main different than all the rest of the establishments up and down the street here?
I feel like Bobby's Place stands out because it's one of the few entertaining sports bars. We have an all-girls staff, a lot of fun. Everyone's really personable, a lot of fun. Like I said, cheap cold drinks, and we have a lot of TVs, lots of sports always rolling through. So.
I happen to be a chicken wing lover, and I know last night we had a couple baskets of those, and those were scrumptious.
Good, I'm glad you liked them.
Yeah, those were a great time. Now, the age group, individuals say, well, I don't know if I want to go there because I'm not quite sure what kind of clientele's around. Speak a little bit about the clientele that come to Bobby's here on Main.
So we have a vast variety of clientele. Typically, the college bar nightlife starts around 10:30 or 11, so it's family friendly. All day long, from open to, I'd say, about 10:30 or 11. So everyone's welcome and has a great time.
And you guys have DJs on what night?
DJs are Tuesday through Saturday starting at 9 p.m.
Tuesday.
Unless the game's playing. We wait till the game finishes.
Right. Yeah, that's a good thing. And you even have outdoor seating.
Yeah. Outdoor seating, and weeknights or weekend nights we have an outdoor bar as well. So. And
individuals that may say, well, I don't want to go there because I can't smoke. nay, 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 right?
Right, yeah. We are a smoking establishment, so you're allowed to smoke inside as well. One of the final few places in the county, so that's nice.
Yeah, we do appreciate Tommy Maurer for allowing us to be here at the location on Main Street here at Bobby's. Next week, we're going to be at Bobby's in Valley Park, broadcasting from 6 to 7 down in that area. There's a lot of different things that are on the menu here, Brooke. And what is your particular favorite?
My particular favorite, I like our pizza, which is great because during any home sporting events and Wednesdays, we have $5 one-topping small pizzas. So you can't ever go wrong with pizza anywhere.
Can't go wrong with pizza at all.
Yeah, that would be my favorite item.
And naturally, you have a nice, fully stocked bar here that anybody can get any kind of drink that they want to take care of that pizza.
Exactly. Lots of drinks and shot specials.
As we end this segment here, Brooke, what would you like to leave our listeners and viewers with in speaking about Bobby's here on Main Street?
I might say at Bobby's we're a family, so we have a good source of regulars and a lot of great girls. Everyone kind of feels at home, and it can always have a great time when we're all together.
Brooke, appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Very good. That's Brooke. She is part. You guys can clap. She's good. She did good. And basically what she's talking about again here at Bobby's on Main Street, a lot of action going on here, a lot of food, a lot of camaraderie. We're right down the street from Lindenwood College, so there's a lot of individuals here. I know Travis was mentioning that here earlier. Chris, the general manager, was mentioning that to me as well here at Bobby's on Main Street, 143 North Main. Just down, again, where they have the main action for Music on the Main. So we're right in the middle of all the action. Bobby has a great location here. Sports Radio STL, you can go to our website, Sports Radio STL, and click on Bobby's Place to get more information concerning, there's the icon right on the homepage there, concerning Bobby's Place. And so you can get that information. And we do appreciate Brooke for being a part of this. We're going to go from a beautiful young lady to
a beautiful young man.
You filled that in nice. An MMA individual here, and we do appreciate Jake Roberts for being a part of our show here today. Welcome, Jake.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
I actually work here too. It's actually a great place. I love the food. It's a great environment.
Yeah. Well, how long have you been down here at Main Street on Bobby's Place?
I've been here about 2 years, and if you guys are worried that you can't eat healthy here, I mean, I work here about 4 nights a week and still make weight down from 30 pounds, 185 down to 55. So,
I mean, and you're
food for everyone.
You're in great shape there. So you're talking about, yeah. There you go. And that's something that individuals think about nowadays when they go to the different restaurants or bars around the area, and they think about the food that they have there. So there's a lot of good food here that is, of course, there's a lot of good food that's nutritious, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's overall a great place. I love it. It feels like family here, you know?
Right. Steve Smith, owner of Rumble Time Promotions, mentioned he wanted to have you on the show here. And why do you think Steve said that?
I think Steve thinks I have a lot of promise. And you know what? I really like Steve, and he backs me up no matter what. So, I mean, he gives me a lot of promotion deals, and I sell a lot of tickets for him, and he gives me fights, and we just coexist well, you know.
Tell the individuals and naturally the viewers out there, Jake Roberts, a little bit about your background in MMA.
Well, I'm mostly a jiu-jitsu guy. I've won 9 MMA fights. I haven't lost yet. All of my MMA fights have been by submission. I've only made it out of the first round maybe twice. I'm 1-0 as a pro. And I can also box, though. I've won Golden Gloves twice. So, I mean, I think I'm very versatile. I could work on my wrestling. My wrestling is not all that great. You know what? That's why I choke them out, though. So, come to the ground.
Yeah. Now, what got you into the sport? Like during grade school and high school, were you in a lot of boxing matches or wrestling or what? Or just out in the playground?
I mean, me and my friends kind of just had each other's back growing up, so it was back and forth, you know. I mean, if you hear from my dad, he'll tell a different story, but, I mean, we were pretty rough growing up on each other, and, I mean, I played football my whole life. I played football for about 13 years, then I played a year in college, and my roommate was a huge MMA fan. I didn't really know anything about it, and he got me hooked. Like, we'd play the MMA game, the UFC game, probably about 5 to 6 hours a day, and then school didn't go so great, which everyone should stay in school. Don't follow my example, you know. School's great.
Cool.
But I'd rather get punched in the face than go to school, you know.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into trying to be a Golden Gloves boxer, as you mentioned, MMA, and I'd like to get involved more with that, but we need to take a break here now, so you'd be able to hang around, right?
Yeah, I'll be here till 2.
I don't know if we have that long, but we're definitely gonna check that out. So after the break, we're gonna speak more concerning MMA, concerning Golden Gloves boxing here with Jake Roberts. We're here live at Bobby's Place on Main Street in downtown St. Charles, so make sure you stay tuned. A lot more to come here on Sports Radio STL. Welcome back to Sports Radio STL. I'm Gary B. We're downtown St. Charles on Main Street in Bobby's Place. If you're ever in the area of downtown St. Charles on Main Street, the main area where they have music on Main, that's exactly where Bobby's Place is. So if you have a chance to make it down here anytime during the week, on the weekends or whatever, make sure you come on down here. Sports Radio STL, we broadcast live every Thursday from 6 to 7. We broadcast right here every third week. Next week, as we mentioned earlier, we're going to be downtown Valley Park, where Bobby's Place is down there. Week after that, we're going to be at Ameristar. So go to our website, sportsradiostl.com, and you'll be able to get information on where we're going to be at each event, and also who will be at each event. Right now, we're speaking with the an MMA boxer, or fighter and boxer.
Yeah.
And Jake Roberts is here with us at Bobby's Place. We're talking about his background on what he has done in the past and the different kind. Like you started out, for instance, Jake, you had mentioned you started out Golden Gloves boxing. Now, where was that here?
No, I actually started out, my first fight was MMA fight, then I switched over to boxing for a little bit just to try to help my hands. But then the past year, I focused a lot on boxing because my jiu-jitsu was doing really well. I was winning a lot of fights, like just submission. Like I'd go into fights, one to stand, and I was just like, you know what, this is way easier. So just take them down and choke them out, you know. Then boxing came along, and you know what, I love boxing. Boxing's so much fun. You don't got to worry about grabbing on to each other, and boxing is just, it's chess. Like that's the ultimate chess match. If I move here, what are you gonna do? If I move there, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I love boxing. I love combat sports, actually. Contact sports are for me. I like contact.
And that's what Steve Smith of Rumble Time Promotion has put together, is combat fighting, and basically it deals with boxing. It deals with MMA. So he has the whole spectrum there. And when individuals go to Ameristar, for instance, he had Pick Your Poison event last week. He had a little bit of each. And that's what people like, is that variety. So you started off with MMA and went to boxing, and you kind of lost interest in that, or when you got involved with jiu-jitsu?
No, I mean, I kind of train all of it all the time, man. I train about 7 days a week, a couple hours a day. This is my life. I put all my eggs in one basket, you know, and I hope it takes me as far as I can go.
And for the individuals that are listening out there, give your height and weight.
I'm 5'10", and I fight 155.
155. So, and individuals out there who aspire to be MMA or aspire to get into the boxing arena, what would you say to them, or how should they go about doing it?
I would go to St. Charles MMA. That's what I do. But, I mean, you got to really try it out. Like, it's not like a street fight. It's not like fighting in school. We get one lucky punch, then someone breaks it up and it's over. Like, this is a fight. You fight for sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 25 minutes. If you're lucky, you fight for a minute. But there's so much more than just fighting. You have to do cardio. You have to work out. You got to be strong. You got to keep your weight down. You got to watch your diet. Like, you got to be neurotic to like this sport. You got to be obsessive. Like, you got to be kind of crazy, you know what I mean? You got to be kind of crazy.
And as you mentioned, St. Charles MMA, Mr. Mike Rogers is a part of that, and basically, and he has kind of put it together. Has he helped you, or has his gym helped you?
Well, it helped me a lot. See, I have the best dad in the world, but if my dad wasn't here, Mike would be a perfect replacement.
Yeah, and he has brought you along to the point where this is where you need to be, and this is how you should do it. Don't do that, do this.
I mean, Mike he guides me. He's a life coach. He's a great person. He's got a great heart, and he'll take anyone in and give them a chance. And if you burn him, he'll give you another chance. But after that, he'll kind of push you to the side. He's willing to help anyone out. He's flexible with his prices, and he's so smart. He coached at SIU. He has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He won Golden Gloves. Mike Rogers is a perfect coach.
Yeah, and Jake Roberts here naturally is speaking about Mike Rogers of St. Charles MMA, and that is something. When you go there, you have sparring partners. Is he your sparring partner, or do you have different individual? How does that work exactly?
Mike is kind of built like a hairless bear, so I'm really glad he's not my sparring partner. We have a wide variety of fighters from 115 to heavyweight, and the main fighters in the gym, I feel like, are me, Zach Freeman, Josh Sampo, Adam Meredith, Travis Draper. He's actually making a pro debut the same night as me. He'll be one to watch. EJ Brooks, the list goes on. We all just make each other better. And with Mike leading us, the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? There's nothing we can't do.
You mentioned pro debut. Speak a little bit about that.
Travis is making his pro debut the same night as me. Travis is a brilliant fighter. He fights 145. He's one of my best teammates. Honestly, I don't think I'd be able to train as hard as I can without him pushing me. And I push him. You know what? We're going to take Midwest by storm, and we're going to take over the U.S. and might take over the world.
When is your pro debut, and where is it?
My pro debut was actually May 16th. I won my pro debut in a minute 30. I won for the triangle. This would be my second pro fight. So I'm just pretty much excited to see where it goes.
And that's coming up?
November 7th at a Rumble Time at Ameristar Casino.
Rumble Time. There you go. Ameristar Casino. And I think Randy Gardner and I are going to be doing the weigh-in for that as we get closer to November. But that is naturally a couple months away here, and a lot of training to come.
Yeah, a lot of weight to lose, too. I won't be as friendly that day. That's safe to say.
Jake Roberts, appreciate your time.
No problem.
Very good, very good. Again, that's Jake Roberts, MMA, and we're going to be making his his second pro debut coming up November the 7th. Go to our website, SPORTSRADIOSTL.com, and click on to Rumble Time Promotions logo. You'll be able to get all the information and all the MMA and fighters that will be that evening on the card at the Ameristar. So there's a lot to come that Steve Smith puts together all the time. And you get a lot more to come here this evening here at Bobby's Place on Main Street, downtown St. Charles. Here, want to thank our sponsors. Naturally, could not do our shows. Randy Gardner and I could not do the shows without SozoSTL.com, without Blackwell Motors and Empire Fence and Custom Ironworks. Each of those individual logos are on our website. Click onto them and it goes right to their website so that you can learn more about it. And we talk about Sozo STL, a lot of nutritional items that are a part of that. All 100%, no sugar at all added to that. Any of the ingredients, as I mentioned, are all natural ingredients there with no sugar. So make sure you check that out, SozoSTL.com. And we're going to have a lot more to come after the break here. Randy Gardner, my broadcast partner, a 3-time Emmy Award winner, will be with me, and we're going to be speaking about the different sports going around town. St. Louis has a lot going on this weekend. The Cardinals are ending their home stand for the regular season this weekend, and the Rams are going to be hosting the Dallas Cowboys at the Dome this coming Sunday. So a lot more to come here on Sports Radio STL, so stay tuned. We're live here at Bobby's on Main Street.
And welcome back to Sports Radio STL. I'm Randy Gardner alongside John Roberts, who is the father of Jake Roberts, who Gary just had the opportunity to talk to here on the air. We're at 143 North Main Street. As I mentioned, Sports Radio STL here at Bobby's Place. What a great place to come out and hang out. Do you have any food yet?
Yeah, I had the grouper sandwich. It was excellent.
It's nice. I had the. Now, is that on the diet? Do you work out with your son and stay on the same workout regimen? You look like it.
I work out, but I like to eat too. I eat for the both of us.
You know, it's very interesting to have your son on and listen to not only the way he talked about you as an influence in his life, but what's it like for you to sit on the sidelines and watch your son being in an environment unlike a team sport like football or baseball where, you know, you drop your guard for a second. There's some other guys out there to kind of pick up the slack. This is a sport where you drop your guard, you're on the ground.
Yeah, I wish I could say I was real calm and cool and collective, but I can't even sit down until he fights. I used to like it when he fought first, and then I could enjoy the rest of the fight show. I mean, as Jake said, he was a football player. When he was a kid, he was a lot bigger, so when he was 8 years old, he had to play with the 10-year-olds, you know, and he took a lot of lickings, but he always came back, you know, and he works out hard. I mean, the 2 hours a day that he said is just a kind estimate. He goes every day 4 or 5 hours a day, and nobody has to make him. He does that on his own. I mean, when he first got started, he had kind of a weird trainer, and I kind of stepped in and said, you need to go somewhere else, you know, and he got hooked up with Mike Rogers at St. Charles MMA, which was a very positive influence, not only on his fighting career, but on the way he handled himself and his life, and got him a little more disciplined, because me and him just butt heads, you know, that's all. You know, he'll listen maybe, but he don't let me know that he listens.
What do you say to other parents out there who maybe have children who want to get into that realm of MMA or boxing? I got 3 young boys myself, and you know, they play soccer and baseball and basketball, per se the safe sports. But is it as dangerous as it looks? And you talked about that discipline aspect that is brought along with the training regimen.
Well, I'm in the thought that if a kid likes what he's doing, he's going to excel at it. If you push him into it and try to make him do it, he's not going to do very good at it, you know. And a lot of stuff that Jake and my other sons have done that I didn't agree with at first, but, you know, they're men also, and your kids, and you got to try to back them up, I think, on where they're going, whether, you know, I mean, I'm nervous as heck. I wish he would have stayed in school. I wish he would have did something different, but he's my son. I love him. You know, if your kids want to do something, you should stand behind them and back them up, you know, and try to help them as much as you can. But
now, he's known as the North County Nightmare. Mom's got the shirt on over here. What's she think about this whole thing?
She's about as calm as I am. If you ever watch any videos, you'll hear a bunch of screaming in the background from a woman, and it's usually Mrs. Nightmare.
So you look at me. I talked about putting the kids in soccer and baseball and basketball, the safe sports, and then you take a look at that forehead there, trunk of a car. So anything can be dangerous, right?
Yes, anything.
Has he gotten hurt at all? Gary didn't talk to him about that he's usually the one, you know, doing the damage, but have you seen him become stung in that ring and you know it?
Well, I've seen him train and get a little stunned a little bit for a second, you know, but I mean, in football he got hurt a lot, because I mean, if you could have seen him play football, he was just as crazy. You know, he was a all-conference Suburban North middle linebacker, you know, and he got hurt in practice. Every time he got hurt, he don't know how to take it easy.
And you mentioned St. Charles MMA is where he trains at, a great organization out there, Rumble Time Promotions. As he stepped from amateur and he got into that first professional bout, how much pressure was put on him leading up to that fight?
Well, a lot of pressure that he handled very well until he stepped out into the Ameristar Casino ballroom. And all the people there was 100 and something people cheering for him, and then he kind of got nervous. But then again, he got in there and he took care of business, you know. And Steve Smith is very good to us, and I appreciate everything Rumble Time Promotions has done with Jake and continue to do with him.
We talked a little bit earlier off the air during the commercial break about that there's so many people out there trying to do what he is doing, and only so many make money at it. You do it because of the passion of the sport. And he mentioned when he talked to Gary that this is not only something you just do, you live this. It's every moment of your day.
Yes, if you want to succeed, this is not a recreational thing, because you can get hurt bad if you're not prepared when you step into the ring or when you're training with somebody. you know, if you run out of gas, and that's a bad feeling in the ring. So if this is something you're going to do, you're going to have to be totally devoted to that, and that's it. You know, unless you just want to go there and work out and do a little recreation. If you want to fight, it's definitely a lifetime deal.
Yeah, Gary tried to get in. He heard he could wrestle women, so he tried to get into the whole MMA thing. Threw him right out.
Kind of like that one guy, what was his name, that wrestled all the girls?
Gary B?
The Elvis guy from Taxi there.
Gotcha. As we start to wrap things up here, I'm going to leave you with the last words. Once again, we're talking to John Roberts, who is the father of Jake Roberts, MMA fighter, boxer, you name it, called the North County Nightmare. What do you see for your son's future the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years here? Or I should say, what do you hope to see?
Well, I hope he moves right along, goes right to the UFC. I mean, that's a dream of his, and I would like to see him fulfill his dream, and he works very hard to achieve that dream, and a lot of people are saying he's on his way. You know, it's yet to be seen. The fight game is a tough game. But, you know, if you want to see a good, hard, heavy-duty hitting, fine in shape young man, November 7th, Rumble Time Promotions at the Ameristar Casino. Jake, the North County Nightmare. Come see him.
Sounds good, John. We appreciate your time here. Once again, that fight is on November 7th. We are live down here at Bobby's, 143 North Main Street. I'd like to thank everybody for stopping by. Make sure and come down and enjoy the food, the atmosphere. This is one of the smoking establishments here in the downtown St. Charles area. So we'd like to thank everybody involved in tonight's show, including Gary B. You can go to SportsRadioSTL.com to watch all of our shows live on the web. We will be all over town. Bobby's down in South County next week. We'll be at the Ameristar the following week, and then we'll be back out here to Bobby's on Main Street the following week after that. So we're all over town. Once again, I'd like to thank Jake Roberts. Also, all of our sponsors, we've got many of them: Blackwell Motors, Empire Fence Online, Sozo STL, and of course, Rumble Time Promotions. Thanks for joining us tonight here on 590 The Fan. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a good one.